welcome to another episode of the Lion's Den podcast. Tragedy Monday Night Futbol. Going from bad to worse, this crisis that just doesn't seem to want to end. And here we are to talk about it with all of you. Just myself and our guest host, Carlos, today. Just going to have to deal with the two of us for the time being until we bring on a special guest a little bit later. But, yeah, Carlos, how you doing today?
Not good. It sucks. It's a bad time to be a Leon fan right now. Let's just put it that way.
It is a bad time to be a Leon fan, although, I mean, I hate to even speak along these lines, but I mean, it's comparable to when you're on a stretch of losing like this, when you're a stretch of poor play, extended poor play, to the point where a loss becomes more likely than a win. It's kind of the same feeling you get when a win is always more probable than a loss. All that time we had playing, we didn't think about each individual win as much because the win was the expectation. Anything less than that, at least a positive result, was unacceptable. And we didn't celebrate each individual win because that was the status quo. Now, I hate to say that losing has become the status quo, but I definitely am not I'm definitely feeling less sensitive about each individual loss as I was when we were coming into this season expecting that we were going to have another season like the last one, which clearly that ship has sailed.
Yeah, I mean, you can't expect a team to have that type of season coming out of a championship. I mean, last season we almost beat our own record for points in a season, so that was a miraculous season, and to top that one, with a consecutive season just as good, I think is setting the bar way too high. I mean, yes, we do want to win. Yes, we do want to perform well, but I think that's too much. But we also don't want to be in the position that we're at now, which is we just can't seem to win. We can't even gain points, right? We can't even maintain a tie, which will at least give us 1 point on the table, but we're just losing these silly games with silly errors. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The expectations were too high to think that we would do exactly the same thing. But I don't think it wouldn't have been out of the realm of possibility for any of us to expect to be in the top half of the table for the majority or entirety of the season. Like we still have way too good a squad. For them to be somewhere around, I don't know, 6th, 7th, 8th place right now, that would have been a reasonable expectation for the squad they have. But what they've done is well below that. And for such a long time now, for so many consecutive jornadas that they just can't get it together, that, again, it's like a loss starts to feel more like the expectation than a win right now, which is sad. But it also means you don't get as bitter about each loss. We're just kind of at a analyze it as best we can and hope for the best at this point.
Yeah. Jose, welcome. Oh, we can't hear you, Jose. Jose, your mic's off. Yeah. Wait. Try again. Jose's having technical difficulties. Can't hear anything. Sorry.
Can't hear anything, Jose.
Yeah.
We'll get you.
Yeah. All right. So let's just go ahead and jump into the recap. It was a 2-1 loss at Estadio Azteca. Again, like I said earlier, it was a last-minute loss, last second. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
There you go, Jose. Jose, how are you feeling, Jose, after Saturday? Oh, your microphone went off.
You muted again.
No.
It's
Nothing.
not happening for you right now, Jose.
Oh, man. Technical difficulties. That's all right. We'll jump on. We'll get them when we get them. Anyway, so yeah, let's just jump into the recap. 2-1. Last second loss, Louis. Second game in a row that we lose. on the very last play. Defensive error. What do you think? Is it defensive error or just guys not covering their positions? Are we attacking too much? What was the issue? What do you think?
I definitely didn't like seeing also Gonzalez in there in the as the last man back to try to keep the defense from conceding the last second goal. I definitely didn't like that. He had a pretty terrible game in general. We can get to that later. But yeah, man, you just, I don't know. Aside from the first 15 seconds, which were incredible,
Yeah.
like the last thing, the way our run of form had been going, the last thing you would have expected would be to go out against somebody kind of Estadio Azteca and score in the first 15 seconds. That probably would have been the last thing anyone would have expected. But after that, I mean, it was just kind of everything seemed stacked against us. From that moment on, they got the quick equalizer. That's the thing, when you score in the first 15 seconds, you still have the entire game left for them to make their comeback. And when they got the equalizer in the 5th minute, I was like, yeah, okay, it was kind of fool's gold, that great start. You know, they got it right away, kind of on actually kind of both the goals they got were kind of just like, they were scored because they were almost exactly the same, and they were scored like, I don't know. It was just lazy defense. I felt like it's like not dialed in, until you don't the play's not over until it's over, and they weren't not being dialed in until the end of the play. But it was a bizarre game. The way it started, and it was equalized, and basically okay. Then it was just basically a bland possession-based game the entire rest of the night. Honestly, León was the better side for most of the match, just as they had been against Puebla. They were the better side, especially in that second half. All the possession, like America could not get the ball back. For the life of them, they could not get the ball
exactly
off of us, and it was, which was cool. I mean, it's like we didn't feel like doom was imminent,
right?
But we also weren't doing much with that possession that we had. And we're a possession-based team anyway. We usually dominate the possession, but this was exaggerated. They destroyed America on the possession, which is strange. Against a team like that on the road, you generally don't see that.
Yeah, it kind of took me back to the last couple of seasons where we became a possession-based team. I feel like this season we've kind of gone away from that, and we're kind of trying to look more to attack through the wings, even though they're high pressing, even though a lot of these teams are parking the bus on us. It seems like we want to attack more just to try to get on the scoreboard instead of maintaining possession and then trying to build up a play. Jose, you're back. Jose, what'd you think Saturday night?
I'm just tired of getting an L in the last minute again. Like, why? Like, there's gotta be better way to lose. Like if there is a way to, I don't know. It's frustrating because they literally dominated, at least in possession, 72% on the whole game, and then for una desatención en el último minuto to cost you at least a valuable point, which now, and I mean, like, the way it is now, it's strange, but like even a point sounds like a miracle right now, because we can't even seem to get that right now. I don't know. What concerns me the most is that the crosses from America, whether they were low crosses or high crosses, the CBs, the central defenders, they weren't really handling them well. Like it even on the one that Henry Martin scored a goal, pretty much Tecillo se durmió. He just le ganó la jugada y nomás he just tilted his head and he went in.
Yeah.
And there were various ones like that where they, like it's it's strange for or defenders, like they're not short, they're pretty tall, and they were winning those balls like on the air.
Mm-hmm.
And in contrast, like what we're not doing, uh, when we're trying to cross, which we're not a crossing team, but when we're trying to cross, the crosses that would go into the area, America would just bounce it back.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we should be doing, and we're not doing it. I think I don't know.
Well,
That
we don't
concerns me a
have.
lot.
I mean, I said this last time. So we don't have anybody to get on the end of those crosses. Davila's not going to do it, and they're forcing him to be
Right.
the target man.
Right.
They're forcing him to be the target man. The only option in the aerial game is when it's on a set piece, and both
Right.
Tecillo and Barreiro can get forward, but neither of them are. They aren't.
Yeah.
They
Just
aren't particularly high quality aerial threats in terms of center backs. There's way better center backs who are in terms of aerial game than them. No,
right.
their threat is their speed. They've been getting forward a lot more. I feel like they're trying to get everybody forward just to have. Since we don't have any natural finishers
Mhm.
out there, really, like we just don't have any finishing out there. So they're trying to get all the numbers forward just to have have a higher probability of a shot opportunity getting on a favorable foot.
Yeah.
But that you could say that. I mean, that might have cost us on both of these goals against America.
Yeah. I was just trying to like compare and contrast like their defense and our defense, and what we're doing wrong and what they are doing right. Like, and I think I mean it's not only the defense. Like right now, our major problem is really up there because we're not scoring.
Right.
That's pretty much. I don't know. Like the other thing too. Like he keeps putting Sosa in there. I don't know why he's in there.
Oh no, he came in like what, the last 5 minutes, I
Yeah,
think it was?
yeah, but like it's like even if he did, like at this point, like he's not contributing. He's not really bringing anything new to the table. Like
Mm-hmm.
why even convocarlo? Just okay, like he just está ocupando un lugar
Yeah.
de otro extranjero. So like
Yeah, I
it's
probably would have brought Jairo.
yeah. So it's
I think. I mean, they have to rotate a little bit though. They can't play all these guys every game
right,
when the schedule is so compact like this.
right.
Yeah, that's true.
But if he does bring someone, I'd rather to be honest, like up until this point, and I don't know why, is it that he hasn't used a single youngster at
Yeah.
all? Not even 2 minutes. Why? Like I don't get the. I mean, I understand that it's hard because of the current situation. It's not the ideal situation to be in playing youngsters. But if guys like, Sosa or Godinez or everyone else that's not informed, if they're not performing, why not give them a chance? Like at least I can think at least of two guys that I would rather see in that bench or come in like Fidel Ambris or Ivan Hernandez, who was the top scorer last season, and he actually has 3 goals in this season.
Yeah,
A lot
I
more.
don't know.
I don't
I think
know.
Andres, I think the whole reason for not playing youths anymore is just because of the whole youth role. Remember when we had the youth role where
Right.
we had to play them a certain amount of minutes, and that's how Armando Leon became part of the first team and scored his first goal with Leon at
And
Juarez.
that's
But now he doesn't
yeah.
feel like he has to do it anymore. So maybe he's just like, I'm going to go with the best players I have, the
Right.
guys who get paid.
But yeah, but I mean, why?
But it's Nico Sosa one
That
of
must
them.
be it. That must be it. We're paying these guys more. They're high, whether we like it or not, they're higher profile.
Mm-hmm.
It looks bad if they don't play. So that's the reason they don't play, not because Nico Sosa is really in any measurably better in any way than Ivan Hernandez now. I mean, I don't think you could say that he is. He hasn't done anything. And so neither of them have done anything, but one because he hasn't had an opportunity to even try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
no, that's just my 2 cents.
yeah. it's a little frustrating. Hopefully, we'll see some more youngsters get some minutes towards the second part of the season. But let's go ahead and jump into some team news real quick. There's some very interesting headlines we should talk about. Firstly, we can just breeze over this one. The CONMEBOL qualifiers are postponed, so that means none of the Colombian guys and South American guys are going to be going off on their international duty late this March. So that's good for us. Also, the club is going to allow fans back in the stadium. Louis, how do you feel about that?
Well, I hope it happens. I saw the tweet that you sent me, and I hope it happens by a week from tonight. That would be amazing. For someone who is used to just always being there, I in some way gotten used to not being there. But I mean, that was the big part of my life for so long, and the anxiousness, the anxiety of not being able to go, and then to see that some stadiums have already opened and some have been open the whole time. Mazatlan has been open the whole time. But there just hasn't been an opportunity to go see León play in any of these places where they've been having fans. That makes it even more frustrating. And now we're getting bombarded by this news. This was kind of a pleasant surprise that our stadium, I thought our stadium would be one of the last ones to open just because of the health situation here in Guanajuato State. But if they're really going to open next Monday, I will set my alarm for, say the tickets go on sale on Boleto Mobile at 10 a.m. I'll set my alarm for 9:59, and I'll be the first one to buy them. You know, I'll be there first in line. I'll get there as early as I possibly can just to sit in my seat at El Glorioso, which I haven't been able to do in over a year. Actually, today marks the anniversary of the last game I was at in person, which was March 8th, 2020 against Juarez in Ciudad Juarez. That was the last game I was able to see live. And it was a great trip and a great result, and everything about it was great. And we were on the same flight back with the team, and everything was great. And then a week later, the world was in turmoil. They played one more game, but it was without fans. And so March 8th, 2020 was the last game I went to. So if a year later would seem like it would be, who knows how long it would be before we could do it again. Now they're talking about maybe next Monday I can go see a game live in the Glorioso. That's big news for me.
Yeah, things going back to normal.
Not to mention possibly going to Torreon for the following match after that as well, and then
because they're letting fans in too, right?
They let fans in last night, and they were kind of testing the waters to see how it would go. But I'm pretty sure they're going to do it again.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I'm keeping my eyes on that, and then Atlas and Mazatlan, of course, have also. Atlas has said they're going to open the Estadio Jalisco for matches as well, starting in April. So in time for what would be our match with them on April 10th, and then of course Mazatlan on the 23rd, and then if Toronto FC wins the Canadian Championship and plays in Orlando, there's that to consider too. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, all these games we can maybe possibly go to.
Yeah. That's very nice. Very cool. Yeah. Hopefully we get to see you at those games. Especially the Champions League game. You'll get to see. Is it 2 home games in a row? Is it Toluca and Champions League? Yes,
they're a few days apart. Yeah, well, April 4th against Toluca and April 7th against the Canadian Championship winner.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Pretty exciting. All right, so last point. Let's talk about Luis Montes. He was photographed at practice, guys. He was supposedly injured. He injured his hamstring, but he's at practice. They said it's not that severe. We don't really know because the team's not really saying anything. There's no official press release out. So what do you guys make of this news? Are we rushing him back?
You know, I don't know if that's the case with him, but I've seen cases of, and other teams is like usually in Europe where there's like key players and they rush them back. They put like some sort of like inyecciones so they can get back faster. I don't know if that's what they're gonna do to him. Like just kind of like like putting like put like a little band-aid so just he can sort of like get back in. I don't know. Hopefully, I hope they're not doing that to him because like especially with the age that Chapito has now, and if he se resiente otra vez, and it's we might lose him for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think this is. I hate to use this term from the NBA. I just hate saying it. When you think load management, they use this term in the NBA all the time. Load management. When they're talking about guys like LeBron or Kawhi Leonard, or these guys who know the team is going to make the playoffs and they're going to be in the top seeds, they don't have to play every regular season game for that to happen. They just take games off, and they'll either just call it rest, or they'll invent some kind of minor injury to tell the press on the injury report to give these guys a reason to sit out. I mean, I think the dude's legs are just heavy. He had the workload that he had to put in to give us this championship last season at his age is remarkable and incredible, but it's going to catch up with him. And once things started going downhill for us, they're like, look, we probably have enough of a squad without Chapito and the schedule we have at the end to get to the 12th seed regardless. We probably have enough to get to the 12th seed. When we need Chapito healthy is after that, not before.
Right.
Because if they keep playing him and they keep running him into the ground and we keep losing, and then he's not, maybe we still get to the 12th seed or a little higher, but what good is it if we don't have him healthy? I think this is kind of a load management situation. And
so you're basically saying that they're doing this on purpose.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, and I wouldn't blame them if they did, to be quite honest with you. His age and the amount of work that he's had to put in.
But I mean, but at this point in the season where we're like,
does that make sense though? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
it makes sense to me. We weren't winning with him out there. Really, we weren't.
Yeah.
It's not like before he went out we were world beaters. No, this was a rough season long before this came about, and they're like, I think they're taking a little bit of a gamble, but they're like, it's a risk reward kind of thing. I don't think they see him as being that much of a difference maker in this part of the schedule as much as he could be at the end and in the Liguilla. You know what I mean? That's what I'm seeing. Where I'm seeing it, I could be wrong. It could be a real injury, or it could be like a real injury that isn't severe, but they don't want to risk it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the problem is because our club is not very open about things like this. We're always left speculated. It's.
I mean, here's how I look at it, though. I don't think take this America game. Would Chapito Montes have made that much of a difference? I don't think so. We dominated the midfield without him. The midfield possession was total and complete superiority, utter domination. And it's not like Chapito Montes was going to be in the center back's position to try to get on the end of those goals that we let in. I mean, that's just not. I don't think. I don't think it would have made that much of a difference, to be honest with you, against Puebla either. To be quite honest, I'm okay with having him rest and having him come back stronger.
The thing with Chapito though, it's not what it's in the midfield. He gives you the final pass when he's on his good day. It's just our guys haven't been up to standard when it comes to scoring. That's why it's not really reflected on, or it hasn't been reflected in the score. But that's the thing that he brings. Like he knows how to break defenses and get a pass out of nowhere.
Yeah, he sees a pass like three passes before it's the ball's in his feet.
I'm not saying like he alone is gonna like do everything now, but
I mean, I don't know how much the final pass would have made a difference. Our finishing just isn't there, and also I think Navarro is more than serviceable in that role as well. He's provided some dandies. It was him who gave the pass to Davila in the opening play, wasn't it?
He did. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, which was a beautiful pass. I mean, I think if we're talking about the final pass, Navarro is good for that too. It's just the finishing isn't there, and the possession in the midfield. I mean, I don't know how much Montes at not at 100%, especially really could have made a difference in these last few games. Also, I like the fact that they put Colombato out there in his place, and we can
Mhm.
see what Colombato can do. There's that element as well.
Mhm.
I would love to see them play together. Also, I think that would be great.
That would
But
be very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
but Colombato, what people say about Colombato is like his game among the players that we already have. His game is
Mhm.
most similar to Chapito's. So, and I can kind of catch glimpses of that when he's playing. He still needs more time. I mean, it was only his second start,
Mhm.
with the club. He needs a little more time, but I think an added benefit of this is that he gets full run of that playing time for right now.
And he's
Yes.
making the most of it. I mean,
Yeah.
you could make an argument that he was our best player on the pitch on Saturday.
hmm
Yes. Except for that call, but yeah, he was pretty much the best man.
Yeah. So moving forward, you guys expect him to start, especially this Wednesday?
If not him, who else?
I mean, for me, he's won the position. I mean, there shouldn't be any question about it anymore. He's done enough to win the position ahead of anyone else we have who could start over him. I mean, I guess it'll only be a question of the foreigner rule. I mean, how many foreigners you can have playing in the starting lineup. But he's won in a vacuum. He's definitely won the position.
Yeah. So what do we do about Oso? Because he didn't have the best game. What do you guys?
That was
You guys
disappointing.
give Jefecito another chance?
No.
So what do you do?
No.
There's no one else.
I'd try Fidel Ambriz over both of them, to be honest with
you.
Yes.
Against Monterrey?
I don't know.
You can't do any worse, man.
Definitely, I don't feel comfortable with Jefecito. No.
Yeah.
Like not right now. No.
Okay, look, I think also had a bad game against America, but before that, he had two pretty solid games. I mean, he wasn't terrible the previous two games, but I think against America, he just had a pretty bad game. I think I would expect
disappointing considering America had just cast him out. You'd think he'd be looking to go out there and have a great performance, but he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think I mean, I don't really heard him being mentioned like during the game, but which usually is a good thing. But I didn't also see him like, do anything either. So I don't know.
What do you guys think about?
Yeah,
let's get into some controversy real quick. What do you guys think about the penalty that was called? Was it a penalty? Was there contact? The one where they had to go to the VAR? Where
the 1-1?
Yeah, the one on I forgot what his name is. Cordova. It was Colombato who
I
tapped
think
him on the leg.
I think it was, but I don't. Do you think it should have been called because I don't know. It's like they were talking about how when he felt the contact, he just kept pointing the ball.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, I think here's my thing. The according to the letter of the law, yes, there was criteria there to mark it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need to reevaluate the letter of the law, to be quite honest with you, because he got tapped lightly on the shin, took 3 more full steps with full control of his body, then decided to fall.
Yeah.
If he had fallen the first time and they called it a PK, I mean,
I would have
you're still like, I mean, that's pretty weak. That probably wasn't enough for him to go down, but he knew that if he did, he would get the call.
Mm-hmm.
But he took 3 more full steps and then went down, and he had full control of his body through all of it. As far as I could tell, it was extremely weak. It was the first call, if he'd gone down immediately, it would have been weak, but it was an extremely weak call to to go to the VAR and then go back and mark it. They need to give the referees it should be the referees should be able to decide within their own judgment, like if a guy's going down on purpose or not. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. Like a guy will go down, and then they'll be like, "No, get up. You're just that's nothing. Get up."
And that's exactly what he signaled.
That's what he did. That's what he did. And then he went to the
was
VAR.
The original signal.
Then he went to the VAR. I mean, the VAR is good for nothing. It's not supposed. This was a judgment call by the referee who had a perfectly good view of what happened. This is a judgment call. The VAR is not supposed to. It's not designed to override the judgment. I mean, this was all about judgment. In the referee's judgment, he didn't go down on purpose after going to VAR. But at first, he judged that he had gone down on purpose. I was like, this is not what the VAR is for.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe you could say the VAR is for whatever's best for America, but that's another argument.
That's another topic.
Yeah.
That's another episode we can talk about. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. That's a tough rule, because think about the contact the amount of contact that happens in the box where players don't go down, but if suddenly they just go down, what are they just going to call everything?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying needs to be reevaluated in the letter of the law. Like, the VAR. It's fine he went to VAR, but the VAR should have confirmed what he'd already decided in this instance. It shouldn't have overturned anything.
Yeah,
like he should have looked at that and he's like, no, that contact isn't nearly enough for him to have gone down the way he did. Call stands, no PK. That's what it should have been. But no, he just. Now it seems like every time they go to VAR, they change the decision. I think the call on the field. I mean, the call on the field should stand unless it's clear and obvious that it should be overturned. That's what all replay should be. Innocent until proven guilty. The call on the field stands unless it's incontrovertibly refuted.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about the prior missed call on Joel Campbell, which is basically the exact same thing? There was contact. He went down, and there was no call. What could that have gone to VAR? That could have gone to VAR under the same criteria, in my opinion.
Yeah, but that one they would have maintained as an OPK, assuredly.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. You live by the VAR, you die by the VAR. So.
Yeah, you especially die by the VAR when you're playing against America.
Yeah.
Or Chivas.
Let's get into individual performances real quick. I wanna get your guys' opinions on Angel Mena. He's kind of disappeared lately. I mean, he doesn't seem to be scoring unless it's from the penalty spot. Over the past couple of seasons, he was our leading goal scorer. He's not a striker. He's not a goal scorer. He just happened to be the guy putting it in for us. What's going on this season? Like, where is he?
I would say he is a goal scorer. I mean, he has lots of goal scoring capabilities and qualities. He's just he had never been tasked with that load prior to coming to León.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think
he just dialed into me. He doesn't seem dialed into me like mentally.
Maybe he's just reverting to what is usually expected from a winger, because usually at least a winger, it's not really to be. It doesn't carry the load of being the main goal scorer for the team. In our case, it does, or both are wingers. But I don't know. Like I think I saw this in like last season. Like he did still scoring, but I didn't really see him in the same form, in my opinion, that he had the season prior, where he would score from open play and not from the spot, or because of pretty much like easy goals. Right. There were some of them that he did, and now this isn't like with the form of the team and everyone else it's out of form, and then him. I think I don't know. Like you said, like they ya saben cómo marcar a León, and I think now he doesn't really know how to attack that wing anymore. Like they got him all figured out.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what I think.
Our whole wing core. Our attacking midfield on up is a well-oiled machine that requires everybody to be on form, and none of them are right now. It's hard for me to just blame Mena. Meneses has not looked good either. They need to play off each other. They need to be able to switch sides. They need to be able to be unpredictable, but to be able to do what they do well, they both need to be on a form that we just haven't seen from them at all. And we haven't seen great form from Campbell either. We haven't seen great form, well, obviously from Chapo before he went out, and now he's out. So it's a well-oiled machine that's just feels like it's missing a few cogs.
Yeah,
right now.
for that one, it's very important that all the gears are functioning and moving, because if one of them is not doing what it's supposed to, all the system just crumbles.
Yeah. That's true.
And
that's what I'm feeling right now. That's why it's hard to bash. I mean, I think he's looked kind of pretty good for some stretches. Maybe not like what we're used to, but pretty decent. But Meneses has not looked good at all. If I had to pick one of those two to shoulder more of the blame, I would say Meneses. But
yeah.
So
I mean,
would
like,
Would you keep him out of the convocatoria next time up, and then put Avion in his spot?
I might. This is not the first time that this has happened, as we'll recall.
Last season it happened too.
First half of last season, the championship season, Meneses didn't look good. He was kept on the bench as a sub, came in as a sub and thrived.
Yeah.
And that helped him get his form back. He worked his way back into the starting lineup and was good thereafter. I don't know. I might try the same thing. If it worked once, why wouldn't it work again? You know?
Exactly.
I mean, even Davila is gritando for an opportunity on the win, because even though we play him in a central role, he's actually supposed to. He feels more comfortable on the wing than on the.
Yeah, I mean that's what I've been saying ever since he got here, and they insist on using him as a center forward. That's just not his position. But the problem is, I don't know. They've lost trust. They've lost trust in Gigliotti as your everyday number 9. That much is clear. They've lost trust in Gigliotti as your everyday starting number 9. And after him, I mean, you've got Nico Sosa, you've got Chuy Godinez, who are useless, and Ivan Hernandez, who might be good but is unproven. And when the team is in a crisis like this, they're afraid to trust hand over the keys to that number 9 position to somebody unproven. You know, so it's just this vicious cycle of like Davila has to play center forward, or Campbell even, but neither of them are center forwards, and they're much better on the wings.
Like they mentioned something on the transmission. So they, like, even though we were playing 4-4-2, right?
Yeah.
So
basically, yeah.
So usually when two strikers play up there, they had to be close to each other, right? So Campbell and Davila were playing far away from each other.
Yeah,
so
because
that's how you know that it's not really their position. It's like they're not accustomed to being next to each other. You know, I don't know. And then,
I don't think they have the striker movements to where they're not the target man. Basically, they don't. I feel the movements in the box.
They probably both feel like to be bunched up together up front is a waste of their abilities, and frankly, it probably is. I mean, they can be they can both be more dangerous on the wings. So they just their natural instinct is to drift back out and try to make things happen there.
And we're basically playing every game with 4 wingers. Yeah. Guys, any final thoughts before we move on to previewing our next game against Monterrey?
Well,
I mean, whatever. They just got to figure this out, man. They can't. They can't keep Cruz Azuleando like this. You know? After controlling much of the game, but for most of the game, you can still see the team you can still see the team in there. You can still see it in there. You can see the idea, what they want to do, and for the most part, they do it. But El fútbol es hacer goles y evitar que se hagan. O sea, they're not doing that. They're not doing that.
I mean,
everything except that.
Right. If they can't like evitar los goles, then the only option is like back in the old days. If they scored, this many, they went to score this many, but they're not even doing that. Like if we at least will be scoring, pues si no tenemos defensa ni modo, but we're not even scoring.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating. So
that's the problem. Our margin for error is so low right now. If we can't score any goals, then we're going to get beaten by one. You know?
Yeah. We used to be able to pull off those victories too, where we just barely won, and we used to always think, man, why can't we just go for the jugular?
It happened many times last season, and the season turned out just fine. But this time, what goes around comes around, as the famous saying goes. And the mojo has flipped to the other side of the spectrum now, completely.
So now we're getting all that.
It's the soccer gods are
remanaged from the campeonato. So now all the goals that used to go inside don't go inside anymore.
Yeah.
Los dioses del fútbol están cobrando factura.
Yeah.
Man.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and welcome our guest for today. We have Eddie from Rayados90 joining us today. Rayados90 on Twitter. Go ahead and give him a follow if you guys don't follow him yet. He posts everything Rayados in English, and of course, he's we're playing his team on Wednesday, so we're going to preview everything for Wednesday's match right now. Eddie, welcome. How are you, bro?
I'm good. Just tired, but good. Good. How are you guys?
Could be better.
Could be better.
We're like you guys were a couple of seasons ago, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, where the season
that's how we are.
mercifully got suspended, so they never had to be held accountable for the poor start. Yeah.
No, that's the only good thing about COVID, that it prevented from us watching 16 matches of just underwhelming, underperforming soccer. So yeah, that's the only good thing about that suspended season.
Yeah,
absolutely. Eddie, how's your team doing this season? You guys are in, what is it, third place?
Yeah,
third place.
Yeah.
How do you feel? How do you feel about Rayados this season?
I mean, when they announced that Aguirre was taking over, and especially with like COVID affecting financial revenue, even though Monterrey's ownership really isn't like in the I mean, obviously every ownership is being affected financially, but what they make their business isn't really that affected. Obviously it is, but not to the extent that some other clubs are. But there was not going to be any major shakeup after that loss to Puebla in the in that one game playoff. So I kind of went into the season just maybe finish top 4. But I wasn't, anything on top of that was going to be gravy. My focus was more on the CONCACAF Champions League, and after that, it was just whatever happens. But other than that, it's just like, okay, just get through this, getting to know him period, and getting to know the squad period, because there was going to be changes. But they weren't going to happen in the winter, just because it's just you only get a month. So I kind of had tempered expectations. But after the 8 games where they kind of struggled to score some goals, I kind of looked back and wondered, was it really smart? Hindsight's always 2020, but was it smart to just stand pat and just allow him this period to just get to know the squad, get a feel for it? But other than that, the offense is clicking the last 2 matches, and everything's coming out gravy right now. The defense has always been good all season, but the offense was not clicking. The midfield wasn't clicking, but the last 2 games, especially against Juarez, they started to click. And sorry for my cat.
No worries. You're good.
Yeah, no, this is why I like Zoom better, just because you get a background. Yeah, no, it was the offense was the only thing that was kind of like, oh, like where is this at? But the defense has always been solid. But against Bravos, they exploded. Like that was just unexpected, where they just hammered that team. And then against Querétaro, they had 2 goals, but they should have been more. They called back a goal on Maxi Mesa that really should have been called back. And then the referee didn't look at an obvious penalty, call that, or handball that should have been gone to VAR and be awarded a penalty. So the 2-1 win against Querétaro was kind of misleading. It should have been more goals. But it's still, the offense is it looks like it's back, but the defense, if I had to like say what's been consistent all season, it's been the defense.
That's not good for us.
Yeah,
that's not good for us, because for us the most inconsistent part has been our offense.
Yeah, I mean the back line is all national team players: Stefan Medina, Colombia; Sebastian Vegas, Chile; Cesar Montes, Mexico; and Jesus Gallardo. So it's like they're finally, as a unit. I mean, I don't know why they still had Nico Sanchez in there, but now they have all 4 national team quality players, and they're performing, as national team quality players. Like two of the players might have like bad games, but when you have 2 other players who are national team quality players, it kind of picks up the slack. Like Stefan Medina can have an average game, or Sebastian Vegas could have an average game, but Cesar Montes can be like bossing it in the back line. And Gallardo's like our weakest defender. But I mean, when you have Sebastian Vegas just, being that cover for him, then, it's just amazing to watch, because they've been solid all season.
Yeah, definitely not good news for us anyway.
Yeah. How do you feel about El Vasco Aguirre? I know you guys picked him up this season, and after your struggles with Mohamed, you did mention like he had a little grace period where he was trying to get accustomed to the team. How do you feel about him now? Like after that game with against Juarez, it seems like you guys just exploded out of the gate. You guys see an uptrend here?
I think so, but I'm giving him this whole season as a grace period, because he hasn't yet molded the squad into his vision. And so I'm going to wait. I mean, whatever, like I said, top 4, I'm not expecting, if they win the league, that's gravy, but just make top 4 and then go from there. For me, the priority is win the CONCACAF champions. And then after that, it's just gravy, just because he didn't get a transfer window to mold the squad. And I'm one of those, fans that likes to just wait until the manager gets a summer window or a transfer period, and then go from there. But he's been the defense, he kind of shored up like that. We were leaking 1-2 goals way too many. And, he, as much as many people like Nico Sanchez, I mean, having a defender in his mid-30s or close to his mid-30s, when you have Sebastian Vegas and Cesar Montes, 2 younger defenders who are national team quality, he kind of is like, okay, I'm going to fix this defense up. And, that's been his biggest mark offensively. Obviously this team has a lot of quality offensively, but I'm going to wait to judge him on that until I get like a picture, in the summer of how he wants to build that. Because like I said, he wanted this clausura to like, let me get to know the squad. Let me see what's needed here, what's not. But like I said, everything else is just I'm giving him this clausura season just to like get to know the players, and then in the summer mold it into his vision, because obviously he has a 2-year contract. So it's a long-term investment. It's not just here, get us to the final. No, this is a long-term project with him. If he stays a full 2 years.
Nice.
Interesting.
Well, we definitely understand that sentiment about the most important thing is winning the CONCACAF champions. We wouldn't have said that before, but now it's starting to look more like a lost league season. So that's all we got left.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you're not going to win. If the CONCACAF champions isn't much like money wise, like you're not going to get the prize isn't really worth it. It's just that experience at the Club World Cup that It's like, okay, this is what's worth it. It's not. It's more of a sentimental trophy than an actual you get, I know like the Copa Libertadores gives you 22 million, if you win the trophy.
Right.
So it's not like, it's not a trophy that you win because it's going to input, a lot of money into your club. It's more like, okay, this gives us to experience, only few clubs get to experience. And
Bragging rights.
obviously, as much as I don't like Tigres, you kind of see how that goes, So, it's more of a sentimental trophy. And I mean, we get started next month, so that's gonna be fun.
Well, it's sentimental, but I mean, there's plenty of hype at play. I mean, we had just won the title, and then a week later, Tigres won their Conca Champions, and I felt like way more was made out of that, and it was really, really aggravating. Like, there's a lot of people who like to hype up the Conca Champions and going to the Club World Cup, and Leon doesn't have that. We're still missing that international title, so it is a big deal for us, and also our unsavory, to say the least, exit out of the last edition a year ago. They definitely. I mean, I'm hoping, as poorly as we've played in Liga, that there's still guys on the squad who are hungry for revancha in the Conca Champions. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, we're definitely looking for redemption, and like Luis said, like that's the one title that our trophy case is still missing, and we need it.
Yeah, because Leon lacks an international trophy. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So when we meet up in the semifinals, we'll have you back on. Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't a joke.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
I just checked the bracket. I checked the bracket. We would meet up in the semifinal.
Yeah, that's the one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I kind of wanted to ask you guys, like, what's going on this season? Like, I've been waiting for you for this team to like wake, and I kind of share that experience, because when Monterrey was going through this, everybody was like, at what point is this team going to wake up? And you get to the point of the season where it's like already midway. It's like, okay, it's not going to happen, and it's a lost season. It's like, okay, you got to just throw it to the dumpster fire and then just start anew. Obviously, you guys have the CCL, so you really can't say, oh well, we'll see what happens next season. Yeah, you can't say, well, season's over, let's start, trying to turn the page next season and like that, because that's what kind of it's the only difference between how we did it. Coming off the title for us, it was more like, okay, just throw it to the garbage. Well, whatever happens this summer, we don't have any international trophy or international competition. But I just wanted to know what is the deal with you guys? And
it's like a severe case of campeonitis. Same thing with Monterrey. I think Monterrey nos pegó la campeonitis. No, I think it's more. We talked about this, right, Louis? It has to do more with maybe the fact that ya salieron campeones, and a lot of these players feel like they don't have that hunger anymore. That's my opinion, Se relajan, exactly.
Yeah, 2 years is as arguably the best playing team in Mexico, and they finally achieved this goal that they had so much pressure to achieve, and then it was all this weight lifted, and now, I mean, they just don't have the ganas anymore, the drive anymore. And yes, for me, it's already starting to feel like a lost season, were it not for the fact that the top 12 qualify instead of the top 8. Because this is a team.
What have we become, guys? What have we become?
This is a team in Leon that they can start playing well the last 3 matches of the regular season and barely get that 12 seed, and they will be dangerous in Liguilla. That's the kind of team. That's the kind of team that we are. So it's hard to call it. It's hard to call it a completely lost season, but it is certainly starting to feel like one.
Yeah, it just feels like 2014, But in that season, Leon was playing
Libertadores. Worse than 2014.
Yeah, but I know it's worse. Obviously, it's worse. We're in the bottom, right? But it just feels like that's going to be the situation. It just feels like the bottom to me. Like Leon shouldn't even be your second, third to last. But I just feel like it's going to be like that same situation where Leon is going to, like Louis said, they're going to maybe have those like last, the last couple of games for Leon aren't at least on paper hard, right? So maybe that's where they're going to rack up a couple of points. I know it's a terrible season. You can't even have the confidence to say you might beat a Bravos or a Necaxa this season. But that being said,
for the record, we hate talking. We hate talking in these terms. It sucks. We hate talking in these terms.
I hate it. But it looks like they might just qualify at this point. I think we kind of learned from 2019. Lo que importa es ser campeón. And if you qualify at number 12 and you still manage to win that championship, it's as celebrated as winning como super líder. You know, it doesn't really matter how many points you made during the season. So I just think it's gonna end up happening like in 2014. That being said, though, we shouldn't even qualify. Like, we lost so many games where I'm like, we're not even playing. I mean, against America, I feel like we play a little better, but nah, how are you gonna lose in the last seconds? I'm beginning to think also, or not also, Godinez is bad luck. Or
Godinez?
Even bad luck.
No,
even bad luck.
He went in. Yeah, he went in. And
no, la dupla de Godinez y Nico Sosa es bad luck.
Yeah.
Someone, alguien está salado. I don't know who it is, but yeah, necesitamos una limpia. Because whatever it is, it's just weird. It's just weird. It's like some Cruz Azul realm kind of.
We need to just like with Cruz Azul when they won the championship. I think Son Shaman went to the stadium and did a
no, that's true though.
We need to do that again.
Because there was a brujo that used to always go. But that's just like 20 years ago. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I just feel it's the urgency and the lack of hunger. They don't have that urgency. That's what I meant to say. Other than that, I don't know. Lesionados, Chapo not playing. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't want to say it's going to have a preseason, but.
Yeah. So, question for you.
Go ahead.
So they don't have. I mean, for you all, like so we've been saying that they don't have the drive anymore because they already won the championship, right? So, you think León is gonna pick up in Champions League since we never won it?
They better. Are
they going to have the drive there?
They better, man. Like you know how I could tell kind of in a way, like seeing for instance,
anyway.
Colombato, how he plays, because he's coming from an interesting campaign in Europe that wasn't that successful, and he's kind of looked at as un contención con mucho futuro con Argentina. So I know he's trying to prove himself. He hasn't won a championship, so he kind of when he plays, it kind of looks like he's trying to win his titularidad, right? So,
I think he's like included in the pre-Olympic list, right? Yeah, so he's definitely out to prove something.
Yeah. I said last week that the hangover, like the lack of drive, is maybe understandable, but it's not acceptable because it would be a shame. It would be a shame if this roster only came out of this whole era with just one trophy. I think that would be a real shame. It wouldn't.
The natural era,
yeah. So I'm hoping that they find that drive in Conca Champions. I'm hoping they find that drive in what's left of this regular season, to at least give themselves a shot to repeat.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Monterrey match real quick. So that should be our focus right now. Eddie, what kind of game do you expect your squad to come out and play? I know you guys you said the offense has been clicking lately, and obviously you guys have a very good defense. What kind of match are you guys going to come out and play? Because I know we're going to be coming out and looking for a victory no matter what, because we need a victory.
And again, this has been maybe consistently like the last two fixtures where the offense has picked up. They have moments where there's like a 15-20 minute period where they're just coming at you nonstop. Like if you go back and look at that Juarez game, the first the score should have been more. If they would have capitalized on a few more scoring chances in those first 15-20 minutes, it should have been more than 6-1. It should have been at least 8, close to 10-1. They had 2 shots where it hit the bar. But this is what I'm starting to realize. In these last 2 fixtures, they'll have spurts like they used to under Mohamed, where they're going for 10, 15, 20 minutes, and they are just coming at you with everything. And the last couple of matches, it's kind of worked out for them. Offensively, I'm gonna say Maxi Mesa has probably been our most consistent forward, and all our creativity, anything that's created for Monterrey, I would say, on a scale of 1 to 5, 3 times out of 5, it's because of him. And it's been taking a while because they invested a lot of money in that purchase. But we're starting to see the Maxi Mesa that was at Independiente that won the Copa Sudamericana. And so now he's really, he's that right wing position that used to be Dorlan Pavon. That's his. Dorlan Pavon is now a substitute, especially now he's entering his mid-30s. And he's actually, I kind of like Dorlan Pavon coming off as a sub because he was able to feature in some of the assisting in that game against Bravos. So to have someone like Pavon with that experience and not needing to go 80, 90 minutes, I feel like he can deliver more because Maxi Mesa, we have this theory that Maxi Mesa can give us 70 minutes of good football before he really starts taking a dive. But, like I said, anything that's going to be generated from Monterrey 3 times out of 5, it's going to be him. So that's the guy that's, if I'm not sure how confident you are in your defense, but that's the guy I would circle. Yes, there's Funes Mori, and I'll get to him in a bit.
Marca
But
personal.
that's that to me. Maxi Mesa needs to be the guy that if I'm Leon, I try to at least have him have a quiet night because he's been consistent all despite the lack of goals and throughout the season. He's been the most consistent, whether it's scoring goals himself or creating opportunities for the rest of the squad.
Does
y metió un golazo, pero se lo anularon.
Because that's something I'm worried about. Does Monterrey rely a lot on crossing to score their goals?
Not really. Not as much as they used to when Dorlan Pavon was on that right side, because that's why we kind of called him Centros Locos, because he would throw out crosses even though there was nobody there. It wasn't a really quality cross. But Maxi Mesa really is the guy that kind of builds up the attack. Like if you go back against the goals against Necaxa and against Cholos, it's just click passing. It's like he would have really good quality passes with Aviles Hurtado, and it would end up in the back of the net. So he really doesn't rely on crosses. Like he really relies on really good quality passing and then having it build up. So he's not crossing. He'll have moments where he'll throw in a really a short cross. Where, it's on the ground. It's not going in the air. He really, to me, when I see him, he's more of a creator and not just a crosser. Like he'll build up the play, and that's why I kind of reference the goals. If anybody wants to go look back at the goals against Necaxa and against Cholos, where the attack builds up, and it's not necessarily through crosses because he's not that. I don't see him as a crosser when I look at his the way he decides to create opportunities for the rest of the squad.
Gotcha. No,
he right wing or left wing?
He's right wing. He could play both, but he's more dominant. He's more noticeable as a right winger because there was, I don't know what game it was. It slips my mind where, I don't know. It was an injury to someone, and it blanks my mind. But this is one of the criticisms we had in Aguirre. One of the, few criticisms is when he decided to switch Maxi Mesa to the left side, to the left wing, and bring in Pavon for the right side. And Maxi Mesa was having actually a pretty good game. And once he switched over to the left side, he pretty much was quiet all night. And that's when a lot of us realized that A, he's the right winger going forward. He, that's his position. And B, he's the starter as a right winger. And that's his position for our club. So he can play both, but he's more dominant, more noticeable, and more impactful in the game when he's on the right side.
Right. So my guys, right winger. Who do we put as a left back? Are we going to go with the C or are we going to go with Yairo?
I expect Yairo to be back. I think they're rotating him in a game, out a game. I think it's part of the rotation. I don't think there were sources that said he was borrado by Ambriz. I don't believe that at all. He's like our best, maybe one of our best, if not our best player. Certainly young prospect. I think he'll be back.
Yeah, Keith's the player with the most volume in the league. So why would you put
Yeah, I mean, but he's coming back from an injury. They probably don't want him to start all these games in a row. So I think I expect him to be starting at left back against Monterrey.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's my
and
if he does, he is my pick to click.
Okay.
So that's gonna be an interesting duel though, because they're both very agile players. So Jairo, I mean, defensively, it's not really his strong point, but
Yeah, that's why I said, would you guys put Tecillo there instead?
yeah.
We are going. That I mean, Eddie did mention that that's their best player.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah, and our hottest player at the moment is Rogelio Funes Mori, who's coming off scoring 4 goals in 2 games. Is just, I mean, he's been, he's been really quality these last 2 games. He scored the really good, scissor kick against Querétaro, and he's really fitting himself. Even though he's a professional, and obviously I hate to like mesh real life situation with football, but obviously I don't know if you guys know he was, he was him and his family were held up, in a robbery at his home. And so my only question is, and he was at practice today, and he was a professional, but you know, that's a traumatic experience, and I don't know if, and like I said, he was at training session. He was a professional, but I don't know how that's going to affect him just going forward. Just having that, I don't know. It's just a routine. Being away from your family. After that situation, I don't know if that's going to weigh on him. Like he tweeted out, everything's fine and everything, but still, that's still a traumatic experience. That's going to take some time. Okay, I gotta be away from my family. Are they gonna be okay, or is everything gonna be okay? So that's, I mean, and I hate mixing, real life and football, but I'm just wondering if that's going to affect him, in his performance or the form that he's kind of experiencing, which is, I would understand. I wouldn't even be mad just because that's something that's very traumatic. So, but if he remains a constant professional, then that's another player that if I'm the one I would worry about, just because he's coming in hot, scoring 4 goals in 2 fixtures. I mean, he's starting to have that striker. All strikers go through cold streaks, and then when they have those hot streaks where it's like everything they touch goes in, he's starting to have that motion, that striker hot streak where it's like everything he touches goes in. He's not going, because early in the season he kind of went through that cold streak where it's like he's failing stuff that he shouldn't be failing, but now he's going through this hot streak.
Oh man.
Yeah, even if he weren't on a hot streak, and no matter what happened to him, in terms of a robbery, whatever, I wouldn't count against Funes Mori scoring against Leon. He always scores against us.
Yeah,
always.
When I remember either 1 or 2 seasons ago when I think he was either coming out from an injury or something, and then he wasn't on his best moment, and he still scored. So it's like he's one of those that you just, no matter what, you always have to keep an eye on.
He's a thorn in our side.
And now he has extra motive because he's 2 goals away from playing Chupete Suazo for the club leader and goal scorer. So he kind of has that extra motivation to reach that period this season. And he's, like I said, he scored 2 goals in 2 separate matches. So he kind of has that that short-term goal where it's like, okay, yeah, I want to get this. There's obviously the team goals that he has that he has his eyes on, but he also has the personal goals where it's like, I'm 2 goals away from being, for tying the lead in club for goal scored. So he kind of has that eye on the prize, that especially now that he's this close, they're probably going to start feeding him just, various scoring chances, because I kind of felt that they started doing that against Querétaro, where it's like, okay, this guy's, especially, Querétaro was really, really bad defensively, and then Juárez too were bad defensively. So they were just putting in scoring chances. I think he should have gotten, like I said, he should have gotten at least a hat trick opportunity if Bar would have looked at the handball for Querétaro. But like I said, he's going through this hot streak that all strikers go through throughout the season.
And you can add on top of that the fact that we normally never do good at Rayados. Isn't that right, Louis?
Yes, I've been to every single Leon Monterrey match, played at Estadio BBVA, and we have yet to win a single one of them.
Great.
Yeah. You did get that draw, though.
I don't know why, though. I kind of blame you, though, Louis.
We got that great draw last second.
I kind of blame you.
A couple years ago. But
every time you go, we lose. I'm just saying.
Well, hey,
No.
you won't be there. You won't be there Wednesday, right, Louis?
I won't be there. I won't be there on Wednesday. No, they are starting to allow fans in a number of stadiums in Liga MX, but not in Monterrey.
Ah, okay.
What would be the next game for Leon where there might be people?
A week from tonight, my friend, at home
Santos?
against Necaxa. No, at home against Necaxa. A week from
Against
tonight.
Necaxa. I might just get a plane ticket to Leon. I might just get a plane ticket to Leon.
I want to ask you guys, just because we haven't touched on this, and this is also that's something that's starting to like maybe heat up. He's starting to maybe heat up, and it's starting to look different. But the midfield play, I just wanted to ask you guys, how confident are you guys in your midfield right now? Because for us, it was, I would say, up until that Cholos fixture, it was just a black hole, because as much as Ponchito Gonzalez has been our best midfielder, I always think that Ponchito Gonzalez is, if he's your best midfielder for Monterrey, when the amount of money we invest in the squad, like that should be a bad sign. Like if he's like Puebla's, if he's Puebla's best midfielder, okay, that's good for them. But we there's other names that are ahead of them, in that, like, they can give you more. But I just wanted to ask you guys, how confident are you guys in the midfield play? Because I don't know how you guys watch football, but like, I'm a big proponent in, like, the midfield needs, you win the battle in the midfield, just because if you're able to connect, from the offense to your attack, that has to go. Because against Cholos, it was, for the first like 30, 40, first 30 minutes, it was so much, like, there was no connection at all. And it kind of becomes noticeable when there's no connection. But I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on, like, what should Monterrey worry about? Because we kind of touched on it a little bit. Our defense right now is two players, like, can have okay games, but if Cesar Montes and Stefan Medina have a really good game, it's like, okay, they can cover for Sebastian Vegas or Jesus Gallardo having average games, or vice versa. But I just wanted to get your guys, what is something that Monterrey should, like, be looking for, even though you guys have struggled? What are some, like, positive signs from your midfield or your attack that's like, okay, this is going to give them fits?
Santiago Colombato.
Yes, that's what.
Santiago Colombato, our new acquisition. Yeah,
which is why I believe that maybe that has to do. Aquino leaving León has to do a lot, because you think about that, and you think about Montes being lesionado. That doesn't surprise me that we're going through what we're going through. So I'm not confident at all on our midfield.
I don't know, man. But I mean, in terms of, like, possessing the ball and, like, controlling the game in the midfield, León looked good against America. I'll say this right now.
Against America, second half.
I'll say this right now. If León is to have any chance to pull off a surprising result against Monterrey, it will be because they win the midfield battle. Because we have no finishing. We have no finishing right now. That nobody's going to get on the end of like a mediocre opportunity and put it away. I mean, all of our opportunities are going to have to be clear. We have no finishing, and our defense theoretically has been okay, but they have lapses. I mean, they had lapses at the end of the last two games that cost us the result. The midfield, that's where we can do damage. Colombato, Navarro, when he comes up and plays as an extra contención. I mean, if also has a better game than he had against America, we have some guys in there who can make a. He was, but he hadn't been. He was against America.
But it's better than having Ivan Rodriguez on the pitch. I'm sorry. I
mean, and you still have Mena and Meneses there coming out of that midfield. Yeah. I mean, you have Tecillo coming up and playing a lot of balls in the midfield. You have a lot of quality coming into that zone of the pitch. That's gonna be Jairo too. I mean, that's gonna be where we're gonna, if we have a chance to do some damage, it's gonna be out of there.
I think what it is we're performing when it comes to possession, but doesn't really translate into scoring goals. So we could maybe win the midfield battle, maybe we have the quality, but we're not scoring. So I don't think. If you worry about scoring opportunities, we're not.
You're not creating that much.
It's not happening.
Yeah, your defense would have to really do a really bad mistake for us to score.
Yeah, that's what it seems.
I think if it's probably, I mean, Hugo Gonzalez is Hugo Gonzalez. Like it is what it is with him at this point. With it, for my opinion, it's just like okay, it's if we can just limit the amount of times he is able to they're asking him to be the stopper, as if they can limit the amount of times, just because he makes, I don't know if it's just lost, I don't know if he lacks concentration or something, but he makes really silly mistakes. Like there's when the game was 2-1 against Querétaro, there was one, I don't know if I know there was a Monterrey player behind the Querétaro player, but there's one where he just throws it right to the Querétaro player, and it nearly results in a goal.
Wow.
And then there was another one where he should have been counted a goal, but VAR luckily you go back, that was an embarrassing the way he handled the ball, and I don't know what he was doing there, but that should have been marked a goal. But if Hugo Gonzalez can just stop making mistakes, or just the lack of concentration, I would exploit that, because for some reason there's always one blunder a game where he'll just give you either a second chance opportunity, because the way he stops the ball, he sometimes likes to punch it, or he just can't seem to grab a hold of a shot. He'll give you a second chance opportunity. So if when it comes to defensive mistakes, that's one where it's like he can provide you perhaps with a second scoring chance that you probably didn't think you'd have. But defensive mistakes from our defenders, I don't expect, unless Nico Sanchez is there, because he'll be prone to that just because his age, and he's just not the best. His technique's not the best. But if it's Medina, Gallardo, Montes, and Vegas, then I won't expect any defensive mistakes from our. They'll maybe make a mistake, but if I'm expecting it, not really. I mean, it'll happen just because that's the game. But am I expecting it? No. My more concern on the defensive side would be a mistake from Hugo Gonzalez.
Gotcha. Let's get into predictions. What do you guys say?
Your cat is the best, bro. let him be part of the podcast. He's trying to he's like arriba la Fiera, because he's a feline, so he just wants to know what's up with Leon.
Man.
All right, guys, let's get into prediction time because we're running out of time.
That was not the right video, Carlos.
That was not the right.
Totally the wrong clip.
I was gonna say.
Let's try this again.
That's not prediction time.
Let's try this again. Here we go.
Prediction time. Prediction time. Prediction time.
All right, Eddie, give me a quick run through of what your expected lineup is, and then your prediction.
So I'm thinking maybe Aguirre might. The only switches he might make is in the midfield, but I don't expect it. But more than likely, our lineup's going to be Hugo Gonzalez in goal. The back line should be Montes, Vegas at central defense. On the wing, or on the fullback side, you'll have Medina, who is coming back from injury. There's no really any word on that. I was surprised he didn't play against Querétaro, but I don't think, with 2 games, in a short amount of span, I think or Aguirre was like, let me roll out the same lineup against, Querétaro that scored 2 goals or 6 goals against Bravos, and then I'll save Medina for Leon. So I'm guessing Medina should be at right back, and at left it should be Gallardo. In the midfield, more than likely, the number 5 will be Matias Calanviter. The box-to-box midfielders are probably going to be Charlie Rodriguez and Pochito Gonzalez. Up front, I don't know yet, because I don't know if Vincent Janssen is going to be suspended for this fixture, because it's a Jornada 3. Just because, he got a red card in the game against Querétaro. So I don't know if, because it's supposedly a Jornada 3. Is he suspended for this fixture, or is he suspended for the next fixture this weekend? So if I don't know, there hasn't been any news on that front. So if he gets to start, just because this is supposed to be a week 3 fixture, then it will probably be Maxi Mesa, as your attacking mid, just he can roam whatever. And then up front, it will be the 2 strikers between Vincent Janssen and Funes Mori. If Vincent Janssen is suspended for this fixture, Then it's probably going to be Aviles Hurtado on the left side, Funes Mori as a striker, and then Maximas as a right winger. So it all depends on if Vincent Jackson's going to be suspended. But if he's not, or Aguirre doesn't go with the two striker, it'll probably be Aviles on the left side, Funes Mori as a striker, and then Maximas as the left side. The right side. So that should give you a little bit indication of what they'll go with on Wednesday.
Nice. Louis, Jose, what do you guys think for us starting lineup? Same as America? I heard a lot of people on Twitter saying repeat the same starting lineup.
But take out Osby and put in Yairo.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you have too many foreigners, then take out Campbell and put in Avion. You know?
Yeah. Jose, would you change anything?
I mean, I just find, no, I think I'll keep it the same because, like Louis was saying earlier, like as much as I want to try Fidel, it's not the gain, it's not the much. Like maybe it's a sub, so I'll just keep it same.
Same.
Yeah,
so
it's
Rodolfo Cotan goal, right? Jairo left back. Center backs, we have
Tecillo and Barreiro.
You guys don't want to play Mosquera this time? He's on a game rest.
I mean, I would rather.
I don't think Barreiro's coming out though.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Navarro, right back, or is he playing mid?
I would put him in the contención again and play Avion at right back.
Okay, so we got Avion right back, and then we have Navarro and Colombato in the middle.
Yes, Navarro and Colombato in the contención.
And then on the wings, what are we doing about Meneses?
I mean, he's not on form, but who are you going to replace him with?
Yeah.
You could take him out and put Campbell there, I guess.
Davila,
but I think Davila is still going to be your target man. I mean, unless Gigliotti, I don't know, maybe Gigliotti gets to start.
Yeah.
They've been doing a lot of rotation, so it's hard to say like exactly what the lineup is going to be.
Yeah, we don't know. He hasn't kept like a consistent lineup in all these. What is it like?
We haven't had a consistent lineup, dude. So if you see something weird come out, it's not somebody's trying to figure out the formula for winning.
That's how Aguirre was to start, but against that, game against Bravos, it kind of like he wrote that same starting 11. He wrote that same starting 11, but I think he had there's a double week in mind, so he might do some tweaking like Stefan Medina coming in, but for the most part, I think he's going to continue to ride I'd say 80% of that starting 11. That's kind of jumpstart the offense that we've kind of been lacking all season. So he's kind of found that he's found that because the midfield he would always rotate, he'll mess around with it, but now he's kind of and before we get our predictions, he's kind of found that formula that it's Charlie Rodriguez coming back, and I guess this can go into my prediction. I don't want to say Charlie Rodriguez is back, but he's had two quality games where it's like, okay, this is the old Charlie Rodriguez, before. I don't know what went to his head, whether it's like the European stuff, going to Europe, or I don't know if they were like, I don't know. It just happens to all young Mexican players where, they how they say it in Spanish, chiflado and all that stuff goes to their head. But he's been really back, and now that he's back, or I don't want to say he's back, but he's looking consistent now. He's kind of figured out, okay, that's going to be our midfield now. So it's like now that the season's gone, he's kind of figured it out. Whether it's you guys, it's just still trying to mix and match. But I kind of feel how you guys felt like in the beginning parts of the season, he was still like our defense was our defense, but like our midfield was always, going into the dishwasher and see what comes out.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Guys, predictions. Let's start with Javier before we lose you again.
I'm sorry, my laptop says cargo. I forgot to put whatever. It is what it is.
Technical difficulty.
We need technical. We need a win. So even if it feels unrealistic right now, we need a win, and I think we're gonna win 2-1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, Eddie, look, it is. I can see a tie, but we need the 3 points, and maybe se nos va a hacer por la primera vez ganarles en su estadio. Hopefully.
Because Louis not there.
Yes, that's what it is. It's my theory, Louis. I have a feeling.
Actually, there was one Copa. There was one Copa game that I wasn't able to go to, and they didn't win that one either. So
your spirit was there. Your spirit, somehow, your essence.
Jose, what do you think?
Man, I want to say a tie, but I never say ties. We either win or lose, so I'm gonna. If we win, I think it's gonna be very narrow, and to be honest, the way we are, I doubt it. But I hope, please, give me a 1-0 win, please. God, we need 3 points.
Yeah, we do. Louis, what do you think?
yeah, I'm gonna go with a 1-0 as well. I think just how weird this season has been, and it would be the most bizarre time to get our first win ever at Estadio BBVA. So of course this is when it's going to happen, but it ain't going to be easy. It's going to be hard fought, and it's going to be narrow. 1-0 goal by, let's say Colombato opens his account.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
He even looked like he was gonna score last year. No, well, let's let. I'll just.
I think so. There was one play where se miraba con mucha intensidad que iba a pegar a la portería, like de lejos, which is kind of what I want to see in un contención, que le peguen. I think that's kind of one of the things that Leon has been missing. So, look, I think Colombato's a great player. The little things that we've seen from him, there's a lot of potential in him, a lot of potential. So, maybe he has that mentality that he might make a goal, Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So I'm gonna go with a 2-1.
All right.
I think there's gonna be a few goals.
Welcome to the 2-1 club, bro.
I think there's gonna be a few goals.
I don't want to bust your
no, Eddie, you think
here,
2-1
but
too.
Monterrey hasn't given up more than 1 goal in a game.
That's
well.
They've only given up 1 goal per game.
I already knew that it was going to be hard. That's why I was like, no, 2 goals.
It's either clean sheet or they give up 1 goal.
It'll be the first time, and it'll be our first win there.
Look, it's now or never for Ambris to like dust off that like old Aguirre playbook. He knows them, so like he's got to know his tricks.
That's something we didn't talk about either. Where
which is something that I was gonna say.
Yeah, you're right. They're teacher and pupil.
They were together at Atletico Madrid, if I'm not mistaken. They were together.
You're right.
And I was gonna say, one of the things that I liked about Monterrey or Aguirre was against Tijuana, if I'm not mistaken, when they tied. I think after the game, los puso a tirar o hacer entrenamientos, didn't he?
Yeah, to all the players. He did that the previous game too against Querétaro. Anybody that didn't play, just because it was a double jornada. He didn't want the legs to go to waste. Like,
that's
so he's
smart.
Like get it, keep your legs fresh because there's it's a 2-week fixture.
Yeah.
So kind of like so they don't say with a pinned up with como con las ganas.
As if they got minutes, just like if they got minutes in a way.
Yeah.
Huh.
He's a smart guy. I've always given him his flowers. He's by far one of the best técnicos que ha tenido Mexico. And having him back also is kind of a way for him to prove what he's done since last been here, which I think was Pachuca. I don't remember really.
Either all of us were in diapers, all of us were in kindergarten, or some of us who follow the league were probably not even born yet when he decided to leave.
I don't even remember.
It was that long ago.
Early 2000s.
It was like in the 90s. Like
Eddie,
99.
Yeah. Eddie, go ahead and give us your prediction. I know yours is going to be different than ours.
Yeah, I'm riding the hot streak of the offense just because it's one of those which part of the season where it's like our offense is just clicking, and sometimes you just really can't explain after it struggled early in part of the season. But I'm definitely going 3-1 just because I've seen them put to against Querétaro. Should have been more than 2-1. But I'm going 3-1 Monterrey. I'm riding the the offensive wave that they've shown, against Bravos and Querétaro, and it seems like they're finally, and something that they struggled last season and a little bit of this season too. And no offense to you guys, but it's like teams that are like either struggling or bad, they would always they didn't put them away. Like it's like they would score a goal, but they wouldn't go for the kill. And against Bravos, when Bravos scored 2-1, I was kind of weary. But then it's like that mentality will switch, and it kind of adds to like, and you can put some blame or some credit to like Bravos' bad defending, but you got to be able to take advantage of your opponent's mistakes, and that's something that they've lacked for like the last 2 years. I remember like maybe the 2017, 2018 under Mohamed when they had like Pato Sanchez and Edwin Cardona, where it's like they would just beat up on the bad teams or the teams that are struggling. I'm hoping this is starting to reminisce that, where it's like, yeah, they're going to put away teams that are struggling or just playing bad. So that's why I'm writing the offensive wave that they're kind of showing. So that's why I'm going 3-1.
All right. So we all gave our predictions. That is going to wrap it up for this episode 68. Guys, you guys have anything left? Anything you guys want to say before we go? Eddie, where can we follow you?
Yep.
Follow me at Varianos90. It's on Twitter. Just follow there. It's all the gift content. Like I'll probably have the gift content for this match there. Any like extra stuff is all Raya's content is all right there in English. So if you just want to follow it, and it's right there at Varianos90. It's the 90 spelled out, so it's Varianos90. So yeah, just follow it there.
Varianos90.
I have one question, possibly two in a way, for Eddie. Do you see Monterrey as a team that might or has the potential to make it to a final?
They do, because when you get into the Liga, I think for me, defense wins championships, and so Monterrey has just their defense. I mean, like I hate to brag, but it's just national team caliber guys. And you don't see that.
This is why me estoy quitando la playera de la Fiera, and I'm really looking at this objectively. I'm like, all right, what are the two teams that I think? I have Monterrey. Like if I was to count out León, right? Because in my heart of hearts, I want them to come back, decimosegundo lugar, making it to the final, 5-0 al América. That's my fantasy. But being realistic, I do see Monterrey in la final, and I have another team, and I've been getting a lot of. But I just feel like, I don't know, it might be their year too. I see Cruz Azul against Monterrey in la final. I do see that final. Who wins it? I don't know. Cruz Azul tiene esa maldición, right?
Yeah, you're more higher up. Like I was telling the guys, I was just expecting top four. Like I either didn't have a chance to like mold the squad into his vision, so it's like, okay, I'm gonna give him whatever. Just I guess from last season, it's just like avoid that 1-game playoff because anything can happen in a 1-game playoff. Yeah, and so just avoid that. Make top four. After that, for me, it's gravy. Right. Next season is when I'll definitely start putting like as far as like domestic expectations, like title expectations. That's when I'll say, okay, now your objective is win the league. This season it's just like make the top four. Anything else after that is gravy.
All right.
Good take.
That's pretty much it.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Eddie, for joining us tonight. We appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we'll have you back for the Champions League tournament if we do go face to face
in the semifinals.
If it plays out on paper, if it's obviously you can't, nothing can be played out on paper, but it the way if everything goes as planned, definitely we should be talking again later on in a couple months.
Definitely. Sounds good. All right, guys, we're going to be signing off now. Thank you guys for joining us.